Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button before you start watching this video. Sometimes I have a video of like 400 views and only 10 likes. So as you're watching, like the video. So yeah, this is my workspace here where I try to do my work from. My computer is okay, it's back on. So yeah, this is my workspace. It's very rough. And yeah, this is my wall. I love boxing, so as you can see, that's Rigondo, Pacquiao and Lomachenko. And this is the heater when the weather is very, very cold. Yes, so that's it. Alright, what's going on, guys? So today is Sunday, and early today I was at home, and around the afternoon period I left home because I had to go to boxing training. So before I went to boxing, I went to the university first of all. I spent about 2 or so hours doing some work on my PhD, and I left the university around 3 o'clock so I could get to the boxing gym by 4, and I did boxing from 4 to 6 p.m. So once I was done from boxing, I took a shower and I came back to the university, and I'm still there right now recording this video. So I've spent another 2 hours again. I don't know how long I'm going to spend again, but it depends. So spending a good part of my Sunday at the university, it just made me think about my PhD, and I thought I should make a video just discussing a bit about my own schedule as a PhD student. I think for many other PhD students it's going to be something similar, and I thought it was going to be interesting for you to find out how it's like as a PhD candidate, maybe in Germany. So one thing I have to mention is that the life of a PhD candidate is very, very unstructured. You are different from a bachelor or a master student, and you're even different from a company employee. So a bachelor student or master student, for example, they know, okay, I have to do my BSc within 4 years, for example, or I have to do my MSc within 2 years, and each of these years will be divided into 2 semesters, and in each of these semesters will last about 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, I'll write an examination and I'll get holiday and go to the next semester. So a BSc or MSc student has a very structured lifestyle. A company staff also has a very structured lifestyle. The company staff knows I have to go to work Monday to Friday, maybe start by 8 and finish by 5, or start by 8 and finish by 8 also, depending on the kind of job you do. So it's quite structured, and you have this kind of defined tasks to do. You know what topics to read for the exam as a BSc or MSc student. You know what areas not to cover. You know what textbooks to use and things like that. As a PhD candidate, it's very, very unstructured. You are free to come in at any time you want, unless you have an appointment. So some PhD students resume by 8 a.m. in the morning. Some resume by 9 a.m. Some people will come in the afternoon. So I personally try to work about 8 hours Monday to Friday. I'm not a very early riser, so sometimes I get to my office around 10 o'clock, and then when I get there by 10, I stay until 6 and I work. Recently, I've been trying to get there earlier, so I get to work by around 9. And you get there by 9 and you can stay maybe even up to 6, which means you spend 9 hours. So in these 8 or 9 hours when I'm doing my PhD, I have different activities that I'm doing at the same time. So sometimes I'll be reading a paper. Maybe I'm reading a paper that describes a particular technique that I would like to apply to my own research, or I'm reading a paper that describes some kind of research that I think we should also do, or I should also try out. If I'm not reading a paper, then I'm writing some code. In my field, geophysics, you need to be very, very fluent with code, because we do a lot of computer programming. We solve partial differential equations using numerical techniques, finite elements, finite volumes, and the algorithms that we use, they require some kind of optimization. So a good understanding of how the code works will help you. In my field, we use Fortran. Fortran is a very old language, but it's very, very good for what we do because it lends itself to parallel computing. So why do we do parallel computing in my field? We do parallel computing because what we do involves very, very, very plenty amount of data. And if you're going to do some calculation on this kind of data, you'll be spending too much how do I say, you'll be spending too much computing power. And too much computing power means anything you want to do, any kind of simulation you want to run, which would normally take you a short period of time, it's going to take you so long. It's going to take you weeks and months. So what we do is that we take our calculations and we parallelize them across different computers. So each of these computers now communicate with each other and they solve the problem. Maybe they solve the differential equation, for example. And they communicate the results to each other again and bring the final answer together. That's just a basic summary of how it works. So you need to understand how this communication takes place. You need to be able to write programs that will do this communication for you. And you also need to be able to write programs that can solve some of these differential equations. So I spend much of my time thinking of how to, write this kind of programs. I also spend some time thinking of how to process some data that I have, in a format I like, and maybe plot graphs and things like that. Then I spend some time writing my research down. If you don't write your research down, you are just wasting your time. You can have the most beautiful results in the world, but you need to write. So for me as a PhD candidate, every day I read some papers, or I try to read. If there's no time to read papers, then that means I'm focusing on writing a code or modifying a code, an existing code. Then something else that is very interesting in my lifestyle as a PhD candidate is that there are periods where there's so much to do, and there are periods where there's little to do. So if, for example, I need to develop some kind of code that would help me solve a particular problem in my field, and I've not done it before, this kind of thing would take me time to think about how to write the computer program, not even the computer program now, but how to think about the problem, break it down from a physics problem into something that's like mathematics. Okay, I want to develop something like a plume, which is what you see behind me here. It's a plume. So how can I ask a computer to create this kind of thing for me? Okay, I can say, okay, I write a code in Fortran that assigns temperature values to every point that is a particular distance from a particular point, and I get the kind of cylinder. I can say, okay, I can write a code that makes it assign points in a circular or spherical fashion. So thinking of how I want to write this code is also like a big part of my work. If I've not done it before, it will take me some time to come up with this solution. So when I have something new to do, the work becomes hectic. I have to spend a lot of time at the workplace thinking of what I want to do. So I'll come in early. I'll stay and stay the whole day, think until I solve the problem. Once I solve the problem and I now implement this particular code and it's running and my simulations are going fine, in that period I don't have much to do again. I now begin to read papers. Apart from reading papers, I now begin to study other things that I'm interested in. So for example, I'm generally fascinated by recreational mathematics, this kind of mathematics that it doesn't require a degree to solve them. If you are good in secondary school math, you can find this kind of problems interesting, like riddles. So I like to solve this kind of thing. So when my calculations are running and I'm not reading the paper, I just bring a piece of paper from my bag or from the printer, and I start to play around with some mathematical problems that are simple, just to keep my brain sharp. Then once my simulation is done, I have my results ready. I now begin to process my results and bring them out in the format that my professor would like to see. So most of the time I come in on weekends and on public holidays, mostly if I have something to do. But even when I don't have much to do, I still like to come in on public holidays and some weekends, because it gives me time to basically, on my own, when there's nobody there, no noise, just think about the work I'm doing. What can I do to improve it? What can I do so that when I come in on Monday, I won't have much to do? That's it. So apart from doing my PhD, I also do a lot of boxing. I go to boxing a lot. I go to boxing now 4 days in the week. So I'm in boxing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And on some of these days, I'm at the gym for sometimes about 3 hours. One session in our gym is about now 2 hours, I think. So sometimes I'm at the gym for about 4 hours, not 2. So sometimes 4 hours. And then when I leave the gym, I go home, because we do the gym normally in the evenings. So Monday and Tuesday, for example, I don't go to the gym. I just come to work early, stay late, and go home. When I go home, these days when I have a fight coming up, soon, when I get home, I don't just go and sleep. I spend the time maybe running, just to keep myself fit for the boxing fight. In my house also, I also installed a boxing bag, punching bag, and whenever I'm not able to go to the gym because maybe I feel tired or work or something like that, I go downstairs in the house and I punch the bag, and try to practice some things that my coach has taught me. So apart from boxing, for 1.5 years, I was the president of Nigerian Scholars in Germany, the chapter in my city. So Nigerian Scholars in Germany is an association of Nigerian students and ex-students who live in Germany. And there are different branches of this association. One branch is in Munich, where I stay, and I was the president of that branch in Munich. So I used to be very busy with this activity also, because we used to organize our meetings once every 2 months. But every month when there's no meeting, I had to meet with my ex-coach and discuss plans for the next meeting. So every time I was always thinking about the activities of this association. I was always communicating with other presidents of other branches. I was always trying to figure out what we could do next, who we could talk to come and fund us, to come and assist the association. So this always took up a bulk of my time, So, but apart from that, also, I am not the kind of person to really go out and just have fun. Once in a while, like once in a month, I go out with my friend. He's a big bros from his name is Benedict, and I hope he watches my video. So I go out with him, and sometimes we just go and have a beer and we come back. So I don't want this video to be too long, but I just want to give an insight into my life as a PhD candidate, and that's basically it. And I like the lifestyle. I don't want to do my PhD forever. In my field here, in my university here, my professor likes people who do their PhD for about 5 years. So I've done about 2 years now. So ideally I'll have like 3 years to go. But let's see how it goes with my work. If I can get the results so quickly and so elegantly, maybe I can finish quickly. But also I don't mind spending 5 years here because I really like the PhD. And the problem with the PhD is that some days are very, very hard, but some days are also lovely. When you cannot solve a particular problem, you are so frustrated. But when you can solve the problem, you become happy. Let me know if you want a part 2 of this video. I don't want it to be too long. If you want me to continue talking about my research work and why I do, I can do another video on this one. So let me know if you like it. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye.